What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Clown Questions, the show where there are no dumb questions. I'm your host, Matt K. Maurer, and the question on my mind today is, are my stupid soliloquies back? Unfortunately for y'all, they might be. I don't really want them to be back, but they might be back briefly here. But yeah, we got an interesting show today. We're gonna talk about what the Bucks did. They waived someone that shocked me. I want to talk about my guy Malik Willis since we haven't really touched on any NFL recently. So I'm going to do a little free agency cleanup. Of course, we'll talk about March Madness. So it's going to be a first year interruption March Madness edition. And then I'll finish out the show with my Sweet 16 picks. So who's down to clown?
That's a clown question, bro.
So are my stupid soliloquies back? I guess the answer is yes, because I am filming a solo podcast right now. Wasn't able to find a guest in time for this week. That's on me. Bad planning. I got to hit up Mr. Quad, Mr. Ploff Warrior. We got opening day here in 2 days. I don't have any baseball news other than, I guess, Pete Crow Armstrong signed a big deal. So congrats, PCA and the Cubs. Overpay. I don't even know what it was, but definitely an overpay for PCA. He's no Churio. I guess he's getting paid more than Churio. That shouldn't be the case, but yeah, back to the original question. My stupid soliloquies may be back. Again, I'm going to try to get a guest every single week. That's always been the goal. But for now, I don't know. I just got some stuff want to get off my chest. And yeah, I don't know. We never really kind of was, drilled in on March Madness. And I will talk a lot of, March Madness today. Sorry for burping it. That's so rude for a host to just burp into their microphone. I even have a mute button. I can just, and you didn't even hear that because I had pressed the mute button. So maybe I should mute for future burps. But yeah, this is the beginning of the stupid soliloquy. So apologize for wasting your time at the top of the show here. You're like, really? You mentioned PCA? What a waste of time. And what a waste of time the Bucks have been. I don't want to say the Bucks are a waste of time, but was it a waste of time? The big move they made, the big acquisition, obviously, Ousmane Dieng has played really well. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I thought Cam Thomas was playing well. They didn't trade for him. They did sign him, but only weeks later, a month later, the Bucks have announced yesterday that they waived Cam Thomas. And I'm not a Bucks fan. I'm a Lakers fan. I'm spoiled. We've had Luka and Austin Reeves and Luke Kennard hit a game winner. We don't have to talk about the Dennis Jenkins game yesterday where the Lakers lost to the Cade Cunningham-less Pistons. But yeah, I'm getting on my Lakers tangent. But what was my question? What the fuck are the Bucks doing? I believe maybe I said the F word twice there now. I don't know. To answer that question, I don't know how to answer that question. And it's not just the waiving of Cam Thomas, who I thought, was going to be sort of the Robin to, Giannis's Batman. It's also that they've asked Giannis, they said, hey, Giannis, can you sit out the rest of the season? I don't know how this goes public, but yeah, apparently the Bucks asked Giannis, they're like, we'd like to shut you down for the season. And Giannis said, I don't want to be shut down. I like playing basketball. You pay me a lot of money to play basketball. I'd like to continue playing basketball. It's kind of like maybe Max Crosby at the end of the Raiders season last year. The Raiders did shut down Max Crosby. And then, seconds later, he's on his Instagram story playing pickup basketball. Crazy that I didn't have chance to even talk about that. The Max Crosby trade getting rescinded is insane. There might be a conspiracy there. But yeah, as far as the Milwaukee Bucks, I don't know what the fuck they're doing, and that's gonna cost me another $1, but it's needed. The F word is the only word that could do this question justice, because I guess the Bucks are trying to tank, but it's like, you're too late, bro. You're too late with the tank. But yeah, I believe the Bucks get the lower or the worst pick of the Pelicans, and that. So I don't know. I feel like they're tanking too late. And yeah, they're trying to shut down Giannis because they want to trade him after this season. But I don't know. If I'm the Bucks, I pray that I win the lottery. And if you get a top 4 pick, obviously DeBonsa or Peterson, that's, very far-fetched. I mean, they can't get the number 1 pick because it would belong to the Pelicans, but in theory, they could get the number 2 pick, get one of those top 2 guys. But if you get in the top 4, you get Cameron Boozer or Darius Acuff, I think you keep Giannis and you build around some phenomenal players who have been putting on in March Madness here. But yeah, Cam Thomas getting waived makes no sense to me. It's just a last-ditch effort at tanking. I don't know. Maybe there's something more with Cam Thomas that we don't know. Maybe that's why the Nets waived him, because the dude can score, but yeah, evidently not in Milwaukee anymore. That one was a shocker to me. That one was a shocker. Let's get to my next question. Am I too disrespectful? Short answer, probably, absolutely. Probably, absolutely. Let's be honest, dude. I'm somewhat of a loser. I'm podcasting right now. Probably 14 people will watch this, and I think anyone cares. I have the gall to think anyone will actually click listen and listen to me ramble and give a stupid soliloquy for 30 minutes. But yeah, I'm too disrespectful because of that. That's what I do, and I don't do enough. I'm gonna do more research, but I don't know. I'm just not well informed enough to be making probably legitimate takes on sports, and I don't know. I try not to trash any athletes, and I'm not going to, but I am going to trash someone for this. Am I too disrespectful? Question. Greg Gard. Come on, man. No, I have no problem with anything any of the Wisconsin players did in our upset loss to High Point. All of the blame goes to Greg Gard. Yeah, obviously Jack Golke 2.0 happened. Yeah, I buried the lead. Number 12 High Point beat number 5 Wisconsin, first round of the opening tournament of March Madness. I hate that I have to say it. Chase Johnston. What? He hit 4 threes. Great. He hit a logo 3. That's disgusting. That I didn't realize how deep it was until I saw the screenshot. He hit it from the bracket of the March Madness logo. Just disgusting. And then to pour salt in the wound. Losing would have been bad enough, but to pour salt in the wound, the Jack Golke, the Chase Johnston, who I think was 0 for 4 from 2 this year, he gets the game-winning layup. His first two-pointer all year was the game winner against Wisconsin. I would like to point out he traveled. Chase Johnson, hashtag Johnston traveled. Yes, he did. Sorry. They don't call it, though. I'm more mad at Greg Gard than I am about the traveling call, because I'm sure Nick Boyd and Blackwell probably got away with some travel. Yeah, you essentially get 3 steps. That's the new rule of basketball. You get 3 steps. I'm sure our guys had been taking 3 steps. But, yeah, again, I love John Blackwell, love Nick Boyd, Nolan Winter, Braden Carrington. So many players on this Wisconsin team. I have nothing bad to say about any of them. Did everyone play their best game? Maybe not. I don't know. Winter was coming off an injury. Blackwell kind of got locked up in the second half. Boyd, credit to High Point. They played great defense. Boyd couldn't get anything in the lane in the second half. But all I can really say about this High Point loss is the Badgers need to do something drastic. They need to fire Greg Gard. Now, I know that's ridiculous, and I know that's disrespectful, and I know nothing about basketball compared to anyone who would have anything to do with the firing of Greg Gard potential decision. But it needs to happen. He made the Sweet 16 in his first 2 years as coach, but that was riding the coattails of Bo Ryan. He had Bo Ryan's players, Bo Ryan's ethos to the team, and yeah, we just do this every year. We always lose in heartbreaking fashion. I don't know why I ever expect anything different. We've lost to 3 different 12 seeds in the past 6 or 7 years. Like it's just ridiculous. It's unfathomable. And again, I give High Point credit. They played well, but if Greg Gard had game planned properly, if he had properly made adjustments, Braden Carrington should have been in the game for 30 minutes guarding that Chase Johnston, Jack Golke hybrid, whatever. I don't know. I'm not the one to make the specific adjustments, but it just seemed like we drove to the cup the entire second half when, hey, remember how we were winning every game this year? It's because everybody on the team can shoot. Every single player on the court, essentially on Wisconsin, can shoot threes, and we didn't shoot. We tried to beat them with twos, which didn't make sense because Johnson got them back into the game shooting threes. And yeah, I think High Point shot 40. Yeah, they shot 40 3-pointers in that game. We shot 23. We should have shot at least 30. If we shoot as many as High Point, we win that game by 20. I mean, I am just sick and tired of Greg Gard. I hate to say it. I know it's disrespectful, but fire Greg Gard. You got to do it. But we're not going to do it because that buffoon Chris McIntosh still has not fired the failure Luke Fickell. So we have bigger problems. We need to figure out the football thing first. Greg Gard's not going anywhere. We'll probably lose to an 11 seed in the opening round next year. I just got to lower my expectations, I guess. But yeah, on a good Badger note, congrats to the Wisconsin women hockey team. I'm not a hockey guy, but congrats to them. They are a dynasty. At least we do have still a dominant team for the Wisconsin Badgers. And men's hockey, not bad either, but women's hockey, top tier. What do we have? We have 4 gold medalists on that team as well. Ohio State tried to be a dynasty. They're not. It's Badger women's hockey all day. I just muted my mic and burped, so you're welcome for being more polite. But the Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins have not been very polite, and that's why I'm sporting my Malik Willis jersey today, the jersey that doesn't exist, because the Packers, I don't believe, have ever worn a gold color. It looks like maybe I had some hair stuck on here. Hopefully y'all don't see any dandruff or my wet hair. This is why I think this is why I stopped doing the stupid soliloquies, because they are stupid and I get off track and it just gets weird. So let me try to keep talking about sports and ask my question about my guy Malik Willis. Why are they doing my guy Malik like this? I don't think I did touch on it last week with Gus on the show. Shout out Gus for pulling up to the March Madness pod. But yeah, Malik Willis, he is a Miami Dolphin. I never really talked in depth about it on the show, so I wanted to mention it briefly. And I was excited, and I still am, because I think the Malik Willis, Devon Achane read option is going to be disgusting. Good luck defending that. He's with his old buddy, Jeff Hafley. I don't know how much Jeff Hafley really factors into Malik Willis's game. He's obviously was a defensive coordinator. Now he's the head coach. So I don't know. There's some familiarity there. I don't know who they're, the Eagles just signed Elijah Moore. Big signing. No, I'll get into some other big signings in a second here. But yeah, I was excited about Malik, but now I'm worried for Malik because the Dolphins traded Jalen Waddle to the Denver Broncos. I like the trade for Denver. You get Bo Nix, a bona fide wide receiver 1. They kind of gave up a lot for him. The full trade was Waddle and a 4th-round pick being sent to Denver in exchange for a 1st-round, 3rd-round, and 4th-round pick. So kind of steep for Waddle, but it's like, I don't hate it. You were a Jared Stidham, or you were a healthy Bo Nix bone in his ankle away from going to the Super Bowl. Who knows what happens, Seattle and Denver, if they play in the Super Bowl. But yeah, I think we can all agree Bo Nix and the Broncos make the Super Bowl, without, Jared Stidham starting that game against the Patriots. But yeah, great trade for Denver. But what are the Dolphins doing? They cut Tyreek Hill, which obviously with the injury they kind of had to. Tyreek Hill still hasn't been signed, so I'd be interested to see where he goes. Maybe it's more so once he recovers, they'll sign him. But after Jalen Waddle gets traded to Denver, The Dolphins wide receiver room is maybe a little thin. Here I go being disrespectful again, but Malik Willis's wide receiver one right now is Malik Washington. Other than that, they have Tutu Atwell, Jalen Tolbert, Theo Weezy Jr., Taj Washington, Terrence Marshall Jr., AJ Henning. No offense, four of those guys I haven't even heard of. And Malik Washington, he showed flashes. He looked good last year, but it's like they got rid of Malik's bona fide number one. I don't like the vibes from the Dolphins this year. I loved the vibes when they got Malik Willis. And again, I still think that read option will be dirty, but unless they add like an elite wide receiver, it's going to be tough sledding. People are going to stack the box and sell out for the read option, the run every play. I should have mentioned they also have Greg Dulcich at tight end. But yeah, not a lot of weapons other than Achane for Malik Willis there. So I'm worried. So I don't know. Why would they do my guy Malik like this? I don't know. Actually, maybe it's because they're tanking. There was weird vibes in Miami last year. Maybe it's even weirder this year where you get Malik Willis as a supposed bridge quarterback. Again, thank you for your service, Malik. The Packers fans, the streets will never forget you, Malik. But yeah, the way the Dolphins are moving, it's almost like they're maybe waiting on a little Arch Manning action, whoever Ohio State has. I don't know the top quarterback prospects, but it seems like they're kind of hanging Malik Willis out there to dry. But let's keep moving the show along. Talk some other free agency. Who won free agency? I'll tell you who lost first. I don't know if I even picked a winner, but the Bears lost because you see me donned in Packers gear. The Bears lost because Drew Dalman retired their center. I think they did replace him with a center, probably not a center as good as Drew Dalman. I'm really lashing out at Chicago today. I'm probably still pissed / depressed about this Wisconsin loss, but let's quick go through it. I want to just kind of touch on some of the bigger names in free agency that got signed, since I never really had a chance to talk about it on this show. The Patriots get Kevin Byard. That defense is still disgusting. And Romeo Doubs, Packer. We knew it was coming, but thank you for your service, Romeo. Why did it have to be the Patriots? I was really hoping Romeo would go anywhere but the Pats, but there he is in New England. He's currently, I think, the number one wide receiver for Drake May. I assume they'll draft someone as well, but yeah, he's going to be balling with Drake May. The Jets signed Minkah Fitzpatrick. Love it. Demario Davis. Love it. Geno Smith. They traded for Geno Smith. Not going to say I love it, but I will say I guess they never wrote him off. He's gonna have to wear one of those boxing face guards, because I heard apparently he got punched in New York last time he was on the Jets, but I don't know too much about that story. The Ravens next up on this list. There's some sort of conspiracy going here because they traded for Max Crosby, and then they rescinded the trade. They're like, he didn't pass his physical. And the Raiders are sitting there like, yeah, we told you he had meniscus surgery. He repaired his meniscus. How would he pass a physical? But yeah, I guess he didn't progress along enough in his recovery. But I don't know. Sounds like a bunch of hoopla, to quote SpongeBob. But yeah, the Ravens end up signing Trey Hendrickson. There's some sort of conspiracy here. They're sabotaging the Raiders, because I think after the Raiders traded Crosby, and yeah, I can just bring that up right now, they signed a bunch of guys. They spent a bunch of money. The Raiders made Tyler Linderbaum, coincidentally a former Raven, I think the highest paid center in NFL history. They also signed Nakobe Dean and my guy, Packer, Quay Walker. Sad to see you go. Thank you for your service, Quay. But yeah, there's some sort of, we got to get to the bottom of this Ravens conspiracy, because they rescind the trade, and then a day later they signed Trey Hendrickson. It's like, we had this plan all along. I don't know. Something fishy's going on in Baltimore with Mr. What do they have? Jesse Minter is their new coach, I believe. But yeah, keeping along with the free agency, the Browns get Elton Jenkins, Packer. Thank you for your service. Sad to see him go. We re-signed Sean Ryan, and we cut Elton Jenkins. I was told we cut Elton Jenkins for cap space, but then we're paying Sean Ryan essentially the same amount. Maybe it's more of the guaranteed money, but yeah, sad to see Elton Jenkins go. Thought he was one of our best O linemen in some time. The Steelers, they trade for Michael Pittman, another possession receiver, maybe for Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. We'll have to contact Antonio Brown and see if Rodgers is returning. People forget Antonio Brown is 2 for 2 in the last 2 years on quarterback signing to the Steelers news. Steelers also get Jamel Dean, another great defender. That secondary remains disgusting. Again, they need Rodgers to Will Howard. I don't know. Steelers are in a weird situation right now. So again, we got to contact AB and see what they're doing at QB. But yeah, Steelers also got Rico Dowdle. Love the signing there. He'll be a two-headed monster with Jaylen Warren. Texans love this signing. Reed Blankenship. That defense just gets scarier and scarier every year. The Colts, Colby Wooden. Packers traded Colby Wooden to him. Thank you for your service, Colby Wooden. So again, sorry for disrespecting you preseason. You really proved me wrong. Had a hell of a year for the Packers. One of my favorite Packers this year. He was great. The Chiefs. You know what? The answer to this question is probably the Chiefs. The Chiefs won free agency because they filled a need that might have changed their entire season. Might have kept Patrick Mahomes healthy last year. They signed Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker. Absolutely love this move for the Chiefs. He's kind of the missing piece there. They did re-sign Kelsey as well. Interesting to see, when Mahomes will return. And the Chiefs also signed Alohi Gilman, who I don't know too much about his game, but I do remember Kyle Van Noy handing the ball off to him and being like, you take it. And Alohi Gilman runs back, 80 yards for the touchdown. So good signings for the Chiefs. Raiders, I mentioned already. Chargers, they get Keaton Mitchell, who I think could be sneaky good. I mean, hasn't gotten a lot of playing time in Baltimore, but with the run-heavy offense, and hopefully healthy, hopefully recovering offensive line for the Chargers. They did add an offensive lineman in Tyler Biadasz, Badger legend. Let's go to the Cowboys. A lot of Packers showing up in here. The Packers didn't really make too many signings, but Rashawn Gary to the Cowboys. Packers traded him to the Cowboys for a 4th-round pick. Thank you, Jerry Jones. Thank you for your service, Rashawn. But again, thank you, Jerry Jones, because we were going to cut him, so we'll take the 4th-round pick. They also signed Kobe Durant, I think was a Seahawk. I love Kobe Durant just because he has the name of 2 NBA legends, Kobe and Durant, obviously. So cool name. Giants get Isaiah Likely. Sneaky good signing. I think this could be the breakout year for Isaiah Likely. Hopefully he gets that TE1 role all to himself. The Philadelphia Eagles, great signing. Not necessarily a replacement for Reed Blankenship, because I think is Reek Willen a safety or a cornerback? Reek Willen position here. He made a transition from wide receiver to cornerback in college. Oh, I didn't know that. But yeah, I guess he's cornerback, so not necessarily a replacement for Reed Blankenship, but a great corner. Love that for the Eagles. Love this for the Commanders. Leo Chenal, Badger legend. Packers made some moves as well. We signed Javon Hargrave out of free agency. Love the signing. I think his production slowed a little bit, but what was funny to me is he posted a video of like his son reacting to the news, and his son did not seem like a former Vikings fan at all, because he's like, where did he sign? And they're like, geez, he's like, the Packers, and he just goes crazy. So what does that say about the Minnesota Vikings, that his son was immediately, ecstatic to go from one rival to the other? Whatever. Shout out Javon Hargrave, new Packer, and Zaire Franklin, who we got in the Colby Wooden trade. Not too familiar with Zaire's game, but I know he's a baller because I checked. His Twitter handle is at Ziggy Smalls. Actually, that might not be totally accurate, but Ziggy Smalls is in his Twitter handle. So Ziggy Smalls is definitely what we will all be calling him. Of course, a great nickname, play on words from the late great Biggie. Vikings. Vikings are another winner. Vikings, I think, are another winner of free agency because you put this guy on their team last year, they're a playoff team. Vikings sign Kyler Murray, another reclamation project for Kevin O'Connell, who has been dubbed the quarterback whisperer. Maybe he's, I don't know, maybe he's yelling too much at JJ McCarthy, and that's why he hasn't progressed. Maybe he needs to speak a little quieter to JJ McCarthy. Positive reinforcement. No, but let's be honest. I think we all expect Kyler Murray to get the bulk of the starts here. Who knows if it'll be a QB competition one way or another. I expect to see Kyler Murray start at least half of those games. Hopefully he comes back fully healthy and stays healthy. And hopefully Tua stays healthy because Tua is going to the Atlanta Falcons. That's an interesting quarterback room. Michael Penix Jr. and Tua Tagovailoa. I guess Kirk Cousins is still there. Or no, Kirk Cousins, I think, officially did get cut. So Kirk Cousins is still a free agent. But yeah, the two left-handers, Tua and Michael Penix. Who's going to start? I have no clue. I hope it's Tua. I don't know. I like Michael Penix too. What am I saying? I don't know. I've just always been a Tua fan since college. The Carolina Panthers, they get edge rusher Jalen Phillips, like that, and don't like that they got Rasheed Walker, former left tackle for the Green Bay Packers. Thank you for your service, Rasheed. New Orleans Saints, and again, I haven't named every team. These are more so the players I had anything to say about or whatever, the quote-unquote big names. I'm being probably disrespectful. I probably left out and forgot a couple. I didn't mention all the trades because I did go through some stuff on past shows. But the Saints, they signed Travis, I'd want to say Etienne, but Travis Achan told us we have been pronouncing it incorrect this whole time. My whole life, I thought it was Travis Etienne. No, it is actually Travis Achan. So I guess pronounced the same way as Devon Achan. People want to pronounce Devon Achan, Devon Achane, but it's Achan, as well as the formerly Etienne is Travis Achan now. Good signing for the Saints. Shout out Travis Achan. Get that money. The Buccaneers signed Kenneth Gainwell. Love it. Another, two-headed monster with Gainwell and Bucky Irving. They also got Alex Anzalone, so some help on defense. 49ers get Mike Evans. Thought he was going to be a Buccaneer for life, but he'll be, I guess, the number one for Brock Purdy next year. 49ers definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with. They also traded for Osa Odighizuwa, which, again, Jerry Jones, what are you doing, bro? Why are you getting rid of your best defensive tackle in Osa Odighizuwa? I love Osa Odighizuwa, not because he's a great player, but because Osa Odighizuwa is such a fun name to say. Great name. Oh my gosh, he's going to be a problem on the 49ers. I pray the Packers don't have to play him in the playoffs. Knock on wood that, of course, we will make the playoffs in a tough NFC North. 49ers also bringing back an old friend in Dre Greenlaw. So, yeah, good for the Niners. Last one I'll go over, another Packer. Seahawks sign Emmanuel Wilson. Thought we were going to, hang on to him, but, love it for Emmanuel Wilson. Love it for the Seahawks. Packers legend, one of my favorite Packers last year. Shout out Emmanuel Wilson, Packers legend. Let's get to first year interruption. The show is going longer than I thought, probably because I just rattled off like 20 different teams and named free agents and gave a lack of analysis on it. But this week's first year interruption is the March Madness edition. This is the March Madness edition of first year interruption because there were so many funny quotes, most of them from coaches during March Madness. I just did a compilation. I start off with one from John Shire for Duke. The Villanova coach Kevin Willard's got one in there. Sean Miller for Texas. The Prairie View A&M coach Byron Smith had a great quote, and Dylan Darling, who is the darling of St. John's fans and Kansas haters, after he hit that insane buzzer beater in March Madness. But yeah, some great, really hilarious quotes from these coaches and Dylan Darling in March Madness. So here we go with First Year Interruption, March Madness edition.
Coach, you just looked at me and laughed. How do you just describe that performance?
I'm not sure if it was a nervous laugh or I'm not sure what it was. I think that's one of the hardest positions to be in, just in general. GMAC, he outcoached me. They were more ready to play.
Coach, 16 paint points for Utah State. How do you keep them out?
I'm not firing my staff because we.
Not now.
Yeah, I am, because we've given up 8 points on underneath out of bounds defense. So the only thing I'm going to do is fire them and get a new staff.
All right, go do that now. Bye, Coach.
Coach, Sabonsa's already got 14. What are you asking your team to try and do to slow him down?
I don't think we can.
Coach, Florida on an 18-0 run here. What more do you need from your guys to slow this down and get into their game?
They would need some help from the Lord. They're very good. They're very good.
What did your coach say to you in that final timeout?
Yelling at me.
Is he in the
Yelling at me per usual.
Because of the
telling me to
offense?
do something.
You did something?
No, it was ugly, but we got it done.
Oh, shout out Dylan Darling. Yeah, I'm sure Patino was yelling at him. He's per usual. Patino's yelling at me, telling me to do something. He did do something. He hit the game-winning layup at the buzzer. That was awesome. Byron Smith, maybe the funniest quote. We need some help from the Lord. What can you do to slow down Florida here? I don't know. We need some help from the Lord. He wasn't wrong. They did lose by a lot. Tough to beat Florida, unless you're Iowa. Shout out the Big Ten. The Big Ten dominating with 6 teams in the Sweet 16, leading all conferences. Sean Miller with probably the most honest quote. Actually, John Shire had an honest quote. I wish Greg Gard would have said this. John Shire and Duke almost lost to 16 seed Siena, and Shire's like straight up. He's like, yeah, the Siena coach outcoached me. What do you call him? GMAC? I don't know the Siena coach's name. I don't think anyone does. But yeah, wish Greg Gard, the High Point coach, outcoached the fuck out of you. And again, these dollars are worth it for some of this ridiculous shit that an amateur podcaster feels the need to comment on here. And yeah, Kevin Willard. Apparently, some people took that as serious. Sorry if you keep hearing the buzzing of my phone. I was just waiting to see if anything pertinent happened in the sports world. But yeah, Kevin Willard, I'm gonna fire my staff. Just great quote there. And Sean Miller, again with one of the most honest quotes. Like, hey, how do you stop AJ DeBonce? He's like, I don't think we can. just move on. And yeah, they couldn't. I think DeBonce had 35 points in that game. They couldn't stop him, but they could win, and they did win. Texas, the lone, I wouldn't say the lone Cinderella, but the highest seed remaining as an 11 seed. Iowa is the other Cinderella left as they knocked off Florida. Florida needed some help from the Lord to beat Iowa, and they didn't get it. They got Alvaro Figueres, hopefully pronounced that right. He hit the game winner for Iowa, and yeah, I think I said this on the show before. I don't think the Lord takes sports requests. He's got bigger things on his plate than whether or not the Vanderbilt shot goes in. That probably shout out Otega Owe, first of all. He had probably the coolest moment of the weekend, banking in a shot at the buzzer to send Santa Clara and Kentucky in to overtime, almost a half-court shot. And then I believe his last name was Tanner for Vanderbilt. After Nebraska hit a late game winner, he almost hit one from beyond half-court, goes in and out, and Vandy loses. Now we're going on to they're calling it Cornmageddon after Iowa knocks off Florida and Nebraska knocks off Vandy, both narrowly, and now they'll be matched up again. But yeah, let's finish out the show here. Didn't expect this to go 40 minutes, but here we are. Here are my Sweet 16 picks. All right. We got number 11 Texas, the lone, the lone double-digit seed left, I believe. Yep, only double-digit seed we got left. Number 11 Texas versus number 2 Purdue. Purdue is -6.5. Love Purdue. They've been on fire. Don't totally trust them. Disclaimer, this is not financial advice. I will say I retired from betting prior to March Madness, and then, maybe after the Badgers lost and I lost all hope, I unretired, came out of retirement for March Madness. I'm pulling up my Fliff account right now. Fliff, sponsor me. But I'm 1, 2, 3, 4. I hit 4 parlays. Hit one other bet, and then lost somehow my account's at 0. So that's how you know I'm a terrible bettor, when I hit 4 parlays and still lose money. That doesn't make any sense. I should definitely be up right now. I shouldn't have had to retire, but I am retired, so I needed to make the retirement disclaimer before I tell you which bets I like in the Sweet 16. But yeah, I don't trust Purdue to cover the 6.5 against Texas. So my pick there is Purdue money line. Number 9, Iowa versus number 4, Nebraska. Nebraska's -1.5. It's Cornmageddon. They're starting the game off with a ceremonial punt, as is tradition in Iowa-Nebraska games. Don't feel great about this pick, but my pick for this one will be Iowa +1.5. I don't know. Something about not the Cornhuskers, the Hawkeyes. Something about those Hawkeyes. I don't know. I've placed some +1.5 bets this past weekend. I think the +1.5 is just to trick you into taking it, because I'm pretty sure I went like 0 for 2 or 0 for 3 on those picks. Essentially, Nebraska's gonna win, and you only hit that bet if they lose by 1. But I don't know. Iowa could win. I could definitely see it. I think that'll be a back and forth game, as will Arkansas. Number 4 Arkansas versus 1 seed Arizona. Arizona's -7.5. I don't know why Arizona's getting 7.5. That seems a little steep. I think this game will be a lot closer than that. Darius Acuff is a psychopath, and I mean that in the best way. He might be the best player in the tournament. Yeah, he might be the best player in the tournament. So yeah, I'm going to take Arkansas +7.5. I feel great about that pick. Maybe I do got to come out of retirement. There's a couple good picks in here. Don't feel amazing about this one. Actually, no, I got to double down and feel good about this one. It's number 3 Illinois versus number 2 Houston. Houston's -3.5. I'm going to take Houston money line. Don't love the 3.5. Illinois has been a buzzsaw, to quote Barstool Big Cat, but I got to double down. I picked Houston to win March Madness in my bracket, so I got to take them over Illinois here, despite my Big Ten support. Number 5 St. John's versus number 1 Duke. Duke is -6.5 in this one. My pick is under 141.5. I believe probably 2 or 3 of the parlays I hit this weekend were taking St. John's unders. I don't know. Something about the Rick Pitino style. St. John's just, grit it out, just play tough defense the whole game. Something about that style. They always hit the under. So I'll be honest, they didn't hit it by much. I think they hit it by 1 or 2 points in each game respectively, but yeah, give me the under. I mean, if Siena could hold Duke to 65, so can St. John's. We got a couple more here. 4 seed Alabama versus 1 seed Michigan. Michigan's -9.5. That's another one of those lines that I don't understand. Obviously, Aiden Holloway's got the 2 pounds of weed and probably won't play. I don't know. Alabama, maybe the court system moves faster down there. I doubt it, but I don't know. Even without Aiden Holloway, Filone Jr., I believe is his name, has been hooping for Bama. Taylor Bowen is, I don't know if he can match up with a Damara, but he was dunking on fools. They embarrassed Texas Tech a couple nights ago. So give me Bama +9.5. That seems like a huge line. Now, Bama might give up, 90 points to Michigan, but I think they'll score at least 80, 3. So yeah, give me. I think Bama. I think Michigan wins a close one. So I love the Bama plus 9.5. Another pick I love. 2 more to go. 3 seed Michigan State versus 2 seed UConn. UConn minus 2.5. I like Michigan State to win the game. UConn may have busted my bracket a little bit in the Dickhead Bowl. They were calling it the Dickhead Bowl between UCLA and UConn because it was 2 dickheads going at it. Dan Hurley and Mick Cronin, the 2 coaches. Mick Cronin got teed up for clapping at a ref. It's like, I'm sure there were probably other things the ref wanted to tee him up for and, forgot to. He's like, all right, I gotta use one. He sarcastically clapped, tee him up. But yeah, UConn takes out one of my Final Four teams in UCLA. It was kind of a long shot, of course, but in this Michigan State UConn matchup, I like Michigan State plus 2.5, and I think I like Michigan State to win as well. So maybe take the money line if you're feeling a little spicy. And last game to touch on is 6 seed Tennessee versus 2 seed Iowa State. Iowa State just embarrassed the shit out of Kentucky. Probably got Kentucky's coach fired. They're a lot quicker to fire their coaches than my Wisconsin Badgers are. But I don't know. Tennessee can definitely drop 90 points here, but I'm gonna take Iowa State minus 3.5. I think they keep rolling. Tennessee can't play defense. Love ISU here. Have them in the championship game in my bracket as someone sneaks by me here right before I was about to finish the show. But I don't know. It's March Madness. Weird things happen. And despite my Badger fan depression, instant classic after instant classic has me asking, can we do any better than March Madness? To quote Sean Miller, I don't think we can.